It is so great catching up with my next guest, Aleksandar Rakic, who's got a really big fight coming up here against Jan Blachowicz at UFC Fight Night on March 26th. Aleksandar, how are you, sir?
I'm feeling great.
Good
I'm
stuff.
doing good.
I love to hear it. It's about 10 a.m. your time right now. Have you already got a training session in? What's the day looking like, or what have you done so far?
Yeah, I just woke up in the morning. I brought my son to the kindergarten. Now I'm getting ready for this first session of the day. I'm gonna do some boxing mitts and later in the evening some wrestling. So yeah, I'm keeping work. I'm training hard and yeah,
Excellent.
constantly training, level up every day, and getting ready. Already, watching rewatch some Jan's fights and getting ready, for him. So yeah, we start already.
That's great. And how long ago was Jan Blachowicz name on your radar in terms of a next opponent? Because he didn't fight. He fought not that long ago against Glover. How soon after that fight did you know about him as a potential opponent?
I think after the fight, I think 2-3 weeks after his loss against Glover, the UFC came up to me with Jan Blachowicz, and I say immediately yes. So we wait for his response, and uh, I think he was on holidays, and he wanted to take some time off because, of course, he had a training camp, he had a fight, he lost his belt. It's pretty hard. No, everybody understand. I mean, I can understand this because I've been through this. To the camp, to the fight, to everything. So you want to relax some time, to take some time off, and then not to go immediately from one fight camp to the other fight camp. And yeah, basically, I guess 2 weeks ago I signed the contract. He signed the contract, and yeah,
Good.
then UFC made it official last weekend. So basically, for a while now, Jan is in my head, on my radar, and I knew I'm gonna fight him next.
Yeah, and plenty of time for the fight. Like I said, we're in December, talking about a fight in March, so that's really good. But I'm sure you didn't want this much time off. I know the last time we spoke, you were looking to get in there. Were there any other opponents in the mix between your last fight and this one? Because I know you didn't want to be on the sidelines this long, especially since you weren't injured.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a long time off for me, and I think I challenge sometimes Jiri Prochazka because he also didn't fought for a long time, and I did couple of challenging him. Let's see who is the number one contender, but he didn't respond. He said he's gonna waiting for the winner of Jan and Glover. He's gonna fight for the belt, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I needed to sit and wait and then to train and to get better, and yeah, like I
Okay.
tell everybody, the more time I get to I spend in the training, that's even getting worse for my opponent because I'm a type of guy improving all day, level up every day, and in every next fight you're gonna see a better version of Aleksandar Rakic. And now, I'm hitting my prime right now, and I feel it by my own in the training. So it's gonna be a good one.
How disappointed were you that Yuri ended up getting the backup, spot for the fight between Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixiera, as opposed to you, because you have more UFC fights than he does?
Yeah, I mean, this is, he got the hype. I
Mhm.
mean, he had some two good fights, some good wins, two good wins, but he never basically beat a guy better ranked than me or me. So
Mhm.
I don't know why the UFC put him in front, but basically he get that privilege,
Mhm.
and the hype, and it's all about business and everything else. But I mean, doesn't matter. He can get his title shot. He can, if he is able to beat Glover, is good. He's gonna be champion. If not, uh, sooner or later I'm gonna catch him and we're gonna fight each other in the octagon. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It would be nice, it would be great if he's the champion and I coming from my belt and put him away and take the belt from him. So I believe I don't. I mean, I believe in hype, and I believe in this, but a quick hype, like a quick hype train. It goes so fast up, but it can go so fast down. So, and
Mhm.
I'm a guy. I'm now in March. I'm gonna turn 4 years in the UFC. I'm gonna be 4 years in the UFC. I had some good guys. I fought some very good former title contenders. I mean. Uh, I know I'm able to finish anybody of the guys, and especially Jiri.
Yeah, it's been crazy how long you've been in the UFC. I was actually at your fight against Jimmy Manua in Toronto. That was what, I think 4 years ago, if not more, 2018. I was trying to remember the exact date. So it's been crazy to see everything you've accomplished since then.
Yeah.
Just had you been offered the backup spot for that fight with Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixiera, would you have taken it? Was that something you were interested in?
I mean, of course, after my fight against Santos in March this year, Dana White said I'm gonna be the backup. Then 2 months later, Jiri fought, and he won against Reyes, and then he said, okay, no, we're gonna take Jiri as a backup. So
Mhm.
the fight was supposed to be on September 4th, the first. So Jiri was the backup. Then they removed the dates from September 4th to October 30, and basically there were no backup at this time. So, and that's the reason I challenge Jiri, and they say, okay, you are not the backup anymore. Let's fight. Let's have a fight because you are long. You have a long layoff. I have a long layoff. Let's gonna fight.
Mhm.
And I talked to the UFC, and they say, okay, we're gonna check on him, and we're gonna come to you back to you. So basically, the UFC also told me that he's not the backup at this time on
Right.
the September, because they changed the dates. And 3 days later, I saw on the social media that he's gonna be the backup for October 30 again. So basically, what I thinking, they're asking the fight again. They asked him about the fight against me, and he said no because he want to be a backup. I mean, okay,
Yeah, it
he
is what it
can't
is.
hide.
No, for sure.
He cannot hide forever. I'm gonna
Right.
come for this guy
Yeah,
sooner or later.
absolutely.
The
Yeah.
the people want to see this fight, but now really, really, I don't care about him, and I don't want to. My focus is Jan Blachowicz, and he's a tough guy. He's a former champion, and I'm happy to can fight against him, and can fight against the best in the world. And he's a tough guy, and he's in my way. And I'm a man on a mission, and I want to be the champion, and I know I have the abilities to be it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
like I said.
Yeah, for sure. And one other name I just wanted to throw out there, just because I had heard of his name sort of being in the talks. Magomed Ankialiav, was that ever offered to you, or is that someone that was ever, on your mind as far as another opponent? Because he's another guy who's picked up a nice winning streak.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he is a guy. He won almost all his fights, and he won against Volkan, so he had only one win in the top 10 division. So it basically, you know, if I fight him, it's like I lose a lot, but I don't gain nothing. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
he has the next fight against Thiago Santos, who is in the top 5. So after this fight, and I think he's doing pretty good, and he's a good guy. I think those are the names. Me, Yuri, and Magomed Ankalaev, who gonna be like for a long time in the division, and we're gonna fight against each other for a long time. So sooner or later, I'm gonna facing this guy as well. So
Yeah.
he has now a big fight against Thiago, and it's gonna be a hard fight because Thiago is a very good opponent and a good martial artist. I mean, those guys are all of them are monsters. So if he win the fight, he's gonna be in the picture of the title run, and we're gonna be all of us gonna be in the top 5, and then everything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You're fighting Jan Blachowicz. Of course, he lost the title to Glover Teixeira. Watching that fight at home, what did you think of it? Were you surprised with that result? I know it was a pretty even fight on the betting odds going in, but it was Glover who went out there and actually finished Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Jan gonna win that fight. I was like 70 to 30, 70% for Jan, 30 to Glover. And then the fight starts, and I think Glover was so motivated because this was his last chance of his life. He never gonna probably never gonna be in this situation anymore. And I mean, it was a good fight for Glover. Jan didn't look the best, but I don't want to look at this fight of him, and then getting relaxed because the fight before against Israel or the fight against Reyes, he looked amazing and he did a great job. I mean, but in this fight he didn't look good, and I'm thinking that he's gonna come with the extra motivation in our fight and to be a better version, and to beat a guy even more hungrier than before, and more willing to get the back to get the belt back. It's gonna be awesome because he was already on the top. He knew how it feels. I was never on the top and I was never the champion, so I am much hungrier than him. That can I say. And I have a great team, and we've been watching Jan for a while now. We already. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Alarm. I know that. I don't know that on the phone yet.
we are watching Jan for a while now, and we are training for him basically, and we are now planning the training camp for the fight, and I'm training pretty hard, even not now in the camp. So I'm gonna be right on point on 26th of March, so to get the W and to secure my title shot.
How do you look at this fight from a style perspective? Because you're one of the most well-rounded fighters in the division. We know Jan, obviously very great himself, but he's been knocked out by Santos. Was finished on the ground by Glover as well. So how do you look at this fight from your perspective?
I mean, he's a tough guy. He's from Poland, and from this area, the guys are really pretty tough. So he's coming not to lose. He's coming to give everything, but I'm from the same area, my bloods and I'm the same. So I see myself a much well-rounded fighter as Jan, but this doesn't mean nothing. In a fight is a fight, and you never know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be ready to wrestle 25 minutes. I'm gonna be ready to grapple or to strike against him.
Yeah.
So it depends what Jan is gonna give me, So this I'm gonna see in the first minutes or the first round or the second round. So I'm gonna be prepared for everything, and I know for myself that I'm improving all of the aspects of the fight, So I want to be the next George St. Pierre, to be the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC roster in the light heavyweight division. So, and I'm on a good way, to do it.
You mentioned training camp a bit there. Who are you mainly working with as far as training partners leading into this fight? And will you be doing any cross training for this camp, or is it just going to stay at home base?
No, I'm not gonna stay at home. I need to go out. I need to go out of my comfort zone. So we are talking now, me and my coaches. Maybe we move the whole camp to Sweden. Maybe we're gonna go to Zagreb to ATT again. So we are now figure out in the next days. We're gonna plan everything. So we're gonna bring some sparring partners from all over the world, from England, from Croatia, from Holland, from Germany. So we're gonna basically pick the sparring partners who are pretty the same height or the same style, like Jan Blachowicz, and then we're gonna take some kickboxers, some good wrestlers, just to separate those parts to do the training with even heavier guys than Jan, and to be able to move them or to outstrike them. So yeah, I mean, we are pretty now planning everything. So probably we're gonna start the camp beginning of the next year.
You mentioned Sweden. The first gym that came to mind over there is the All-Star Gym with Alexander Gustafsson, and you have Khamzat Chimaev. Is that a gym you would be interested in working with, or is there another group of fighters you're looking at?
I mean, I've been twice in All-Star Gym, and they are very good, but basically when I do the camp, I go with my coaches,
Oh,
and
right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I did the last 3 times, my whole team my wrestling coach, my jiu-jitsu MMA grappling coach, and my boxing coach, and my performing coach. So we are 5 guys plus sparring partners. So basically, we go to a different gym. We have a opportunity to train in a very nice gym in Sweden, in Göteborg. So, and to bring then the training partners. So it's like a wolf pack going somewhere in Sweden, in the cold, to go to get ready, to get only the focus, only the mission, nothing else, only training and resting. And yeah, that's a thing.
Had you ever trained with Khamzat Chimaev in the past? I was just curious because you mentioned you had been over there before.
At this time, when I were in All Stars, he wasn't there. I think this was 2000, even 2014.
Oh, okay.
But I met Khamzat. He came to Vienna a couple days because he has some friends here. So, and he came to the gym where I've been training. So we had one training, and he seems a very nice guy. He did a very good job in the UFC, and he is pretty tall as for his weight class. He's almost like me, and I'm a pretty tall guy for the light heavyweight division. And he's a lot of hype, around him. He did a very good job, and I think he's ready for the top 10 and the top 5 in the UFC.
Yeah, very well said. How do you envision this fight playing out? I know we got lots of time. I'm sure there's a lot of game plan and strategy going into this, but how do you see a 5-round fight between the two of you going, between you and Jan Blachowicz?
I need to make a statement. I need to prove the fans and the UFC that I am gonna be the next champion, and I'm gonna get my title shot. It doesn't matter if it goes 25 minutes of war or if I finish him in the first. I need to make a statement. I'm so motivated. I didn't been fighting for almost now at this time gonna be 1 year. So I'm really fired up. I'm really motivated, and I'm really going out there to put a great performance for you guys and for myself as well.
Speaking of great performances, did you happen to catch the UFC 269 card last weekend? Did you see it?
Absolutely, I saw it.
So I got to ask you, just 2 fights I wanted to ask you about. First fight, I got to ask you about Oliveira defeating Poirier. Really impressive submission victory. And believe it or not, Oliveira was the underdog going into the fight. What did you make of his performance?
I mean, after the first round, I thought, okay, the second round is going to be over for Oliveira, and Dustin going to knock him out, because after the first round with like 1 or 2 knockdowns and then pretty clear round for Poirier. But then, I mean, Oliveira did a good job. He took him down and controlling the whole round on the ground. He made him tired. He made him gassed, And I mean, Oliveira, he's a crazy guy, man, with the most submission wins in the UFC history. And then, if you make someone tired, he's gonna give openings for you, and that's basically what Dustin did. And I like Dustin. I met him. I was training in ATT in Florida a couple of times, and I mean, yeah, it's a fight is a fight. I think he gonna come back stronger. Maybe he gonna go up to the weight class, like he said. So I don't know, but the great champion Charles Oliveira did a very good job, and the next one against Justin gonna be even better, I think.
And then I got to ask you about the co-main event, Julianna Pena upsetting Amanda Nunes. I was so impressed with how Julianna defeated Nunes too. It wasn't like a close decision. It was a definite win. What did you think of that victory?
Absolutely. I mean, the same thing like in the main event. I thought Amanda gonna win after the first round. She was pretty dominant in the first round, and that's how we knew Amanda is gonna finish all the fights or controlling the fights. But Julianna was said like in the break between round 1 and 2, she's tired, and she felt it, and she said in the medias that she's gonna come after it. She's gonna be like a dog, always pushing forward, and basically she did it. She connect basically every jab what she's throwing, and yeah, the same thing. She clinches. She hurt Amanda. She clinches. She took her there. I think Amanda looked tired a little bit, and the tap was even with no hooks in. So it's basically like a Matalion choke without hooks. And I'm pretty happy for Julianna Pena, and of course, I think the UFC gonna make a rematch, and this is gonna be very interesting.
It's pretty obvious here. You're fighting a former UFC champion. You're a main event. I mean, this is a huge fight. I think most people feel like if you win this, you'll get the title shot. Has the UFC told you that, though? Is there any sort of dialogue between you and your management saying, look, the winner of this, they're going to get the title shot for sure, after Jiri and Glover, of course?
No, not yet. Not yet. The UFC didn't say nothing, but who else?
Yeah, exactly. It's looking good, Alexander. I think you're in a good spot regardless. Because usually if it's a main event, that usually is a signal that it's going to be a number one contenders fight.
I mean, he is a first contender right now. He was a former champion. I'm a third contender. So basically, I'm like, my goal is to win, of course. My goal is to put an absolute dominant performance and to make a statement and to let the guys know that I'm going to come for the title, that I'm going to be the champion, and that I'm going to stay for long.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is looking like Jiri and Glover will fight next. Who do you favor in that fight? Who do you think wins that fight when it eventually is booked?
I mean, it's a pretty good matchup, and I wouldn't say that Jiri is the favorite in this fight, because we saw what Glover can do. He can take a punch, and he's coming forward. I mean, he's 42 years old, but this doesn't matter, because he's a champion. He became the champion. So, and Glover is a pretty good for closing the distance with his hooks to put the guy against the fence and then to take him down, to drain the energy and to submit him. Basically, he did this with Jan Blachowicz. He did this with Thiago Santos. He did this with Anthony Smith. He was losing the first 2 rounds against Anthony Smith. He came back. So, and Jiri is a guy. He feels very good when he makes chaos, when he pushes you, when he throw punches, But Glover can take these punches, and I think the wrestling and the grappling area is much better than Jiri's. So it's a pretty good matchup, It matters, how Jiri gonna defend the takedowns,
Yeah. And another name that you've been linked to, again, just because of fighting him already, is Anthony Smith. What did you make of him wanting to have a rematch with you after just, only winning 2 fights? What did you make of that?
I mean, he was challenging me, after his last fight. I immediately said yes, for December. And this guy couldn't make it. He's injured, and he's now talking behind the screens and behind the phones and talking and say, this hurting my feelings, that I can see that Rakic going to fight Blachowicz. I don't care about him and his feelings, Why you wasn't ready, why you are not ready. Shut the fuck up, get healthy, win another fight, and then we're gonna talk. And that's it. I have nothing to say anything about him,
Okay.
I cannot hear, I respect this guy. He had a 3 fight. I think he won three after our fights. I respect him, as a martial artist, but he's talking too much, and I don't like this.
Okay. I like the honesty on that one. The former champion in your division was Jon Jones. Obviously, there's been a lot of issues with him outside the cage, and now he's fighting at heavyweight, and we don't know when he's going to return. Do you think we'll see the same Jon Jones after all of this? Because it's been a while since he fought last.
I mean, Jones is pretty. I see what he's doing, and he built this up. He built his weight, and he can be stronger. He can be faster. He can be better. The thing what Jon Jones have, what the most guys don't have, is the IQ, the fight IQ. He can dictate the fight where he wants. It doesn't matter in the light heavyweight division or in the heavyweight division. I'm pretty interesting how he's gonna do it in the heavyweight division against the big guys. So I'm I thinking he's gonna be pretty, doing good, and probably he said like he's gonna fight next year in the second, June or July.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be ready, so probably they're gonna book him against Stipe. You never know.
And so something completely off the wall here, I have to ask. I'm Canadian, so I love hockey, and I know that hockey's pretty popular in Austria. Have you ever heard of Thomas Vanek? He used to play in the NHL. I don't know if you've ever heard of that name. I just have to ask as a hockey fan.
No, I never. No.
Okay, I had to ask anyways, because I know hockey's pretty. I know it's pretty popular over there. There's not a ton of NHL players, but had to ask anyway. So
I think more it's popular in Austria, but it's also popular in the Czech Republic and
Yeah,
Slovakia. So
Yuri's actually a hockey fan. Actually, it's something I asked him in our interview, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
yeah,
Have you? I assume you've ice skated before, right?
yes, I did, but I've never been on a hockey game. Never.
Oh, you got to go. It's so good. You could
I
have gone
will.
when you were in Toronto a few years ago, although they don't win too many
Yeah.
games these days. Well, I shouldn't say
I'm
that. But
basically my boxing coach is a multi talent. He's playing hockey. He doing snowboarding, wakeboarding. He knows everything. So
okay, I'll talk to him
played
next time.
hockey.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that sounds good.
perfect.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, my last question. I know we've gone over time here. What are your plans for the Christmas holidays? I know the fight's coming up in March, but you going to spend any time with family? What's on the agenda for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm at home. I'm with my son and my wife. My parents are also living here, so of course I'm gonna spend the time with them because after this, the camp is gonna the camp gonna start, and I'm not gonna be able to be with them. So I'm gonna enjoy the days with them, and of course, I do my training. This is the most important thing, and then after enjoying the time off with them.
Aleksandar, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Thank you. I mean, I've been thankful for all the supporters and all the fans around the world who is supporting me, who get message, every day. I'm not able to respond to anybody, but if you hear the interview, thank you all for your support. And yeah, March 26th, you're gonna see a better version of Aleksandar Rakic.